All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another Old Reader, New Reader. As you all see, I have two very special guests. We have
at least
the
one
Dan.
very special guest. Not me.
You're both very special.
I
We
really
have
thought
the Dan without
I'm
fear. It was just the first time Dan has come on to do Old Reader, New Reader with me, which I'm very
Yes,
excited
hello.
for. And eventually we'll have to do a Transformers one together because I still have to read those comic books.
Yes, we will, because they're good.
And of course, we have Steven, who has been a guest before, and knew me in before. Both of you knew me in the before times. The before I knew anything about Star Wars.
Is that where we're drawing the line for the before times today?
Yeah, because it wasn't until last year that I had even finished watching the original trilogy. So, because I was ashamed. I couldn't. People didn't know. I couldn't tell them.
But see, that's great because it lets you come to stuff like Rebels with young eyes.
That's true.
In the sense of it's more Star Wars, not it's yet more Star Wars.
Yeah. And man, I will say Rebels really did it for me too, which is why I'm glad that Patreon voted for the book we are talking about today, Star Wars Kanan. Because I watched The Mandalorian and loved it, and they started bringing stuff in from like the cartoons and stuff. I was like, well, okay, I'm going to have to know things now. So I started to watch Clone Wars. I didn't get super into Clone Wars. I'm going to go back to it. And I was like, well, I'll just start Rebels. And immediately I was like, oh no. Oh no, I love it. Oh no.
Right.
Oh no. I have like 4 different cloth face masks, and one of them is Star Wars Rebels. Like I'm a 5-year-old. That fabric is not meant for me. But it got me, and now I'm I'm caught up on the High Republic. I don't know a lot about Star Wars stuff still, but I've read a lot more than I have before. So I'm sure things will come up that you two will know about that I will not. So it'll be fun to talk about.
What I thought was interesting about this book in particular, just talking about that kind of Star Wars, background knowledge, is that they teased a couple of things that they never got around to doing, which frankly in the Star Wars universe these days is kind of a novelty. Because modern Star Wars universe is all about let's explain every offhand reference ever made. And so I appreciated that. I don't know if we'll get it, into the specifics of those, but just a few things where it was like, this happened, and they didn't really talk about it. And, it was great. I appreciated it.
So I guess background people watch this if you haven't read this. So Star Wars Kanan, this is the omnibus. They call it an omnibus. It's more like a hardcover. But Kanan ran from 12 issues. This is by Greg Weisman. He wrote for Rebels. He also wrote Gargoyles.
That's amazing.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's cool. I love Gargoyles.
It's all on Disney Plus. Like I'm going to introduce my kid to it. Disney Plus, get it now. Use my code. For 10% off your first month.
So this does tie in with Rebels because it is about Kanan, who's one of the main characters. But basically, it explores more of his past as being one of the last Padawans, and how he escaped after Order 66, while also kind of exploring how he is now and how he deals with his old identity versus current. And this is probably centered around season 1 or 2 of Rebels because Ezra's already there. And there's a couple other things about him that would tell you where this is set in Rebels that I don't want to tell you because I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, so that's the biggest, that's the quickest gist I could give you before we just kind of jump in and talk about it.
It's Kanan's origin story.
Yeah. And I will say that this hardcover is beautiful. I think I got it right before the price went up. But look at that under that dust jacket. That's beautiful.
It's really good art.
Nice. Yeah, I got $20.
It's out of print now, isn't it?
I think so, because I looked on Amazon and it was like $100. So I don't know. But
yeah, remember when I had all those and I offered to sell them to you for like nothing? And you were like, Star Wars.
Yeah. But now I love Star Wars. I play a Twi'lek in a Star Wars tabletop role-playing game. So that's where we are in this.
Now wait, is that a sensitive Twi'lek or?
Is it not called Twi'lek?
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you.
Don't worry about it.
Is it pronounced Twi'lek? I thought it was Twi'lek.
I've always said it Twi'lek, but when you said Twi'lek, that just made me happy.
Oh.
I've always said Twi'lek.
It's a Twi'lek.
I can even quote some of the sound bites from KOTOR, because that's how Ellie and I talk back and forth with
Nice.
like the one of the 3 Twi'lek sound bites that they use for all Twi'lek voiceovers. It's so good. Sorry, we have one question. Will this video be uploaded later? So this is a live video, but it'll stay up here. So like if you don't have time to watch it right now, you want to jump back later, it'll be here.
There's also a comment from Torsten Reinhardt that mentions A New Dawn.
I have the picture ready of that book.
Okay. More Kanan origin and whatnot, but yeah.
I did pick up the novel because I'm
obsessed.
Yeah, Well, I'm very invested in Kanan and Hera. And we do get a little bit of them in this, and her calling him love, which I never really got in the cartoon. So I felt like, oh, they're like a real couple in this book. Wow. This is, look at that. Very cute. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly what to start with, but I guess we could just dig into talking about his backstory and how we feel about that. There's a lot here.
Yeah. How spoilery do we get?
We get spoilery. So
okay. Just making sure.
All of it.
All the spoilers are here, everyone. Now, I'm not going to spoil Rebels later. So people in the chat, try not to spoil that, but we can spoil what's in this.
Got it.
And if you don't want it spoiled, don't go back in the chat because I already saw something.
Yeah,
sorry, Steven.
And I was like, whoa, what?
Sorry, Steven. That was already spoiled. I'm not even finished with the last season, so I already knew it happened because I watched the entire timeline of Star Wars. So,
like me, I've still only seen the episodes of The Mandalorian I watched with you, and so I'm like, but I already know. Like, I'm just like, I know how it ends.
Oh, but it's so good. Getting there is half the fun.
I know, it's so good. So we start when they start off there, they want to make sure that you get one of the most traumatic parts of Kanan's life. Because they're like, oh, hey, we're going to stop at this planet. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's cool.
Right.
And then immediately it's little young Padawan Kanan, and he was known by Caleb, hang out with his master, who, what is her name?
Caleb, or no, he's Caleb Dune.
Yeah.
She was Depa Bilaba.
Yes.
There it is.
And they're there with 2 clone troopers, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they are. Okay.
Yes, clone troopers.
You're doing good.
Well, they look different. So, they look the same as each other, but they look different than other clone troopers I've seen, so I wasn't sure.
Well, this is later on in the Clone Wars, once the clones have begun distinguishing themselves from each other through dress and special names and things like that.
Okay. All right, good. So I was following.
Also,
yeah.
Maddie, it is pronounced Jedi. You keep saying it is pronounced Jedi.
I know it's not.
Okay, say it wrong. What?
But yeah, they're just having a nice time on the planet, and Caleb is like, man, I really feel happy here. And she's like, we're in a war. He's like, yeah, but I really found myself now. And it's just this really nice moment. And what could go wrong here?
Yeah, well, other than everything. Yeah, what caught me about this, and I am Star Warsy, but not Star Warsist.
Gotcha.
to the I know a lot about what's going on in the background here, but there are a lot of connecting novels and things like that, especially post Disney, that I just haven't gotten to. And this was the first time that, and I hadn't read this before I read it for the show. This was the first time I had seen even a hint of maybe we Jedi shouldn't be in the military, guys.
Yes. Yes. I'm glad you brought that up.
And that's what struck me, or what stuck with me most about Kanan's, master is not the later story that, of her, being in a coma and that sort of thing, but the kind of post defeat, wiser, questioning respectfully, but questioning nonetheless, and not afraid to do it, Jedi that I kind of enjoyed. Because other than that, especially in the movies, but even in the connecting stuff that I've seen, it's always like, well, we're gonna go, we're Jedis, we're gonna go lead these clone troopers in this great big battle, and it's like, should warrior monks really be the generals of the army, or should maybe they just be like the special forces guys who come in and do the thing and go? So I like I said, that stuck with me, and maybe I just used my best ammunition right up front. But
no, and I think that's a great thing to dig into, because it's a small thing, but it's really interesting. And I do feel like, non-movie stuff does explore that a little bit better.
Yeah.
But like I really appreciate, because you get that point too where the clone troopers are like, no. Why would you say that? We need you to lead us. Like, we can't do these things without you. And they're like, yeah, but we should be in charge of anyone. Like, this whole hierarchy thing that we have here, like, it doesn't make sense for us to be that for you. Which now I know that Jedi used to be this, right? Like the High Republic and all that, and I kind of understand. But nowadays, is that necessary? Why are you commanding these people? Why is this your job to do? It's interesting.
Well, and one thing I was wondering, and I don't know if anybody in the chat might know the answer, but is there any Star Wars connective tissue that has Palpatine, I always want to say Palpatine, but that has, Sheev maneuvering the Jedi into that leadership structure? Or is that just a role they assumed? Because, if you just go by the movie timeline, it's well, Obi-Wan happened to find this clone army, and so we're just going to take them over and use them against the Separatists. Great.
Well, and my nerdiness is coming in now.
But that's important.
That's what we need.
Also, before I do start, I just, again, I felt bad. I corrected Maddie. I'm going to correct you. It's Palpatine. This is how you pronounce it.
With an accent aigu over the E.
Right. So I don't know all the details of, because there are lots of books and some that are legends and not canon, like Darth Plagueis, which is a phenomenal book, should have been canon. But in the second movie, which I feel like nobody remembers much of because it was like a fever dream of a movie, as were most of the prequels. But in that second movie, they insinuate that the Jedi had something to do, like a rogue Jedi was responsible for the building of the clone army. Like, he commissioned it, Master Sifo-Dyas.
Yeah.
But I think that was somehow, I think that was Palpatine working with somebody, because I don't know who Sifo-Dyas is, but because I want to say it's like a rogue Jedi. So that may have been.
I always thought Sifo-Dyas was Dooku for some reason, like pre betrayal Dooku. I don't know why I thought that.
Well, you know what? We live in the internet age.
That's true. That's true. Although I have to say, I'm kind of like disappointed that the chat hasn't already given us a citation and a direct quote reference.
Well, we're not always in the
guys.
Star Wars side of YouTube,
That's
unfortunately.
True. That's true.
Sorry for the confusion. We are getting into the book, but we got stuck in this really cool line that is between the Master and the clone troopers about like, should the Jedi be involved in this war at all, and should they be in charge of it?
Right.
And so that's what we got stuck on, which is really cool.
Yeah, but I thought that was neat to have a little quiet moment of discussion about that, especially where the book starts out with them fighting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's big conflict with a child, you know, killing folk or killing droids, and but then showing that, you know, it's not the child who's doing the questioning, even though the whole thing about him is that, oh, he's questioning everything except, you know, that I thought that distinction between questioning because I want to know and questioning because I think you're wrong,
that's true,
was a good one too. Which is,
it's good because I'm glad they had that, because they say he always has questions about like why things are the way they are, like why do Jedi Masters choose their Padawans this way? Why do we do it this way? Blah blah blah. And I'm glad that they have this moment where she teaches him, because the Kanan we get much later is a very different man, and so it's good to see where he came from. Sorry, Stephen.
No, I'm going to step back real quick away from Kanan for 2 seconds, because back to Sifo-Dyas. Figured it out because I remember seeing an episode of Clone Wars, or a few, that I was like, he was in, but it was like a holocron of him. So Sifo-Dyas was a Jedi, I did not know this part, that was gifted with the power of foresight. And so he saw the war coming and thought that the Republic would need an army to win the war. And so he said he had the approval of the Senate, and he went and commissioned this army. But the army belongs to the Republic. And so when Palpatine overthrows the Republic and the Republic becomes the Empire, the army is now his. So he has power over it as the head of the Republic when he's Supreme Chancellor. And then you get all that. So the Jedi being high-ranking in the Republic and having been the people who commissioned the clones, I think that's why they're involved with that. This didn't matter at all, but I went on a little...
Hey, I like it.
Well, see, and you know, my question is, given the state of the prequels, why didn't we get to see the invoices going from whoever ordered the clones? And who, I mean, really, I want to know who paid that bill. Who did the Kaminoans send the bill to? Because wait, we discovered this army. Well, somebody's got to have paid for the damn army.
Right.
I mean, even in Star Wars, people don't work for free. It's not Star Trek.
That's true.
Yeah, I know. I had to.
My question is, so at the beginning we have, you know, Kane and crew in the middle of this fight. This General Cleve guy looks really cool. Is he from anything else, or is this just like a character or canon only thing? Do you all know?
I don't know if it's him personally, but it looks like his design is based off the Devil Man guy, who I'm sure has a name, that you see in Mos Eisley in Star Wars, A New Hope.
Okay.
I haven't actually seen him anywhere else.
He's very cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
But he has an appliance that the guy from Mos Eisley didn't have.
So Zebulon says, although I enjoyed the Kanan comics, the major problem with Jedi being political/military tools is that it's derived from sources other than the original theatrical trilogy. They are Templar. Yeah, and that's true, because like that's where we get more of the information about that. Mm-hmm. Old school Shinobi said the bill ended up in collections and the Jedi Council declared bankruptcy.
That's how they betrayed
they
the
were
Republic.
planning on.
The Jedi were too big to fail, guys.
Yeah, Jane said they really liked the artwork, and I thought the artwork was phenomenal. How cute and just like animated this whole thing is. Mm-hmm. Like,
I did think it was interesting that the clones are drawn substantially different, like from Tamura Morrison.
That's why I was confused.
And from each other a little bit too, to where, yeah, as I was reading this, I'm wondering, like, wait, no, this is in the Clone Wars. This is not Stormtrooper days where it's different people under these helmets.
Yeah, that's why I was really confused because, like, I mean, I'm coming from a background of, like, any, like, Clone Trooper knowledge I have is from Clone Wars and Rebels. So I'm used to them looking like that.
They're all
so when I got into this, it didn't look like them. So I was like, but you look the same as each other. Is there two different clone lines of people?
Yeah.
But
yeah, you know, and it worked once you just realized it was a stylistic thing. And, you know, I mean, frankly, it's got to be hard to draw the same face over and over again and make it different. So I don't, you know, it just took me a minute to realize it was artistic choice rather than a character thing.
And so also we have this bit where Kanan's given a holocron, like, learn about the Jedi. Order 66 happens. He has to leave his master and ends up having to kind of like live on the streets. And so there's a lot of that back and forth of like his journey with that, of not knowing where to go, kind of having to rely on some unsavory local characters.
Mm-hmm.
Getting on a ship to leave, getting Obi-Wan's message and be like, well, shit, okay, I can't go anywhere that they think I would go. So let's go back to where I came from. And this was very cute and very Star Wars and very typical, but also great because for people who've watched Rebels, this very much mirrors young Ezra, who is also a Force-sensitive kid who has nobody, who's lost his parents, who's living on the streets. Very Aladdin situation with Ezra. And so it was cool to see. I can see now why older Kanan sees Ezra as like, this little punk reminds me of me. Who, you know, this kid is obviously Force sensitive, who's just kind of had to take care of himself.
Mm-hmm. You know, you do start to wonder if there are any smugglers in the Star Wars universe who are actually, you know, not very nice.
Because they're all nice, like his friends.
They all have hearts of gold. Every smuggler in the Star Wars universe is really just a very friendly person who makes friends easy and takes people in. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if y'all know any drug smugglers, but they're wonderful people.
Yes, pirates, also known for being very nice.
Yeah, because he finds Janus and steals his ship after he takes care of him, leaves, brings his ship back, and then he still works with him.
Right.
And then even like as they start to do like, you know, hits together and everything, he's like, you are the worst luck. Those clones follow us everywhere. We can't stay in one place. He's like, oh, well, you know, it's good for your business, though. It's like, oh, yeah, kid. Oh, okay. You're so cute. Just every Star Wars. So cute. The Jedi Order never taught Padawans how to survive in the real world by themselves. Ain't that the truth?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but, I mean, anyone who's been to high school understands that.
Yeah, that's true. But, I mean, he had his poses down, you know? So.
Yeah, but, you know, to some extent, though, that's one of those things where it's like, well, you don't generally train someone for the end of the world as you know it.
Yeah.
Which, you know, okay, that's a criticism, but I don't know that it's a valid criticism. I mean,
yeah, no one saw this happening.
Except for Sifo Dyas.
Well, yeah.
He saw it all.
Yeah.
But I love that he's like Kanan's the last Padawan, even though technically we have more, which is how that always works, right? Because we've got the video game Cameron guy.
Yeah, Luke Skywalker is the last of the Jedi, except for all the other
Jedi.
Yeah.
You know, it's fine. All this clone trooper talk is going to be hype for Star Wars: The Bad Batch. Yeah, coming in May. I hope I'll like it. Dan, you might like Claudia Gray's Master and Apprentice. It explores the role of Jedi in the Golden Age, some of the contradictions, etc. So that's that's Qui-Gon and
that book is.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, Yeah.
So
Qui-Gon
I
Obi-Wan.
read her Leia novel, the one that came out like right after Disney took over, and that was pretty good.
I do need to read that. I've read the manga version. And I have one of her newer novels, but Jessica's been helping me along the way by giving me recommendations.
Master and Apprentice to me is one of the best of the canon Star Wars novels that they put out.
Okay.
Because it's just interesting to hear that kind of like historical account type stuff that you don't really think about. Because like I love the characters I love, but I like hearing about the infrastructure and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But not like Tarkin levels where it's just like, let's talk about the blueprints for 5 chapters of the Death Star. And it's just like, but.
Oh, man. Y'all should read The High Republic. It's so cool. It's so cool.
I read the first issue. I haven't read any more than that.
Well, I've got the novels. You can borrow them if you ever.
The novels are what I've seen. I haven't read any of the comics.
Yeah.
Rucka's writing the novels, right?
It's Charles Soule.
Charles Soule. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So he wrote the first one, and then there's varying levels of like age range,
right,
for the books. But I've read all of those. Oh my gosh! Real quick, my husband has a joke. What is a Jedi's favorite liquor? Qui-Gon gin. And then he goes,
No.
funny joke, which is that.
Funny joke. What type of car do I drive?
Tor says a good comment. In the end, Casimir even says as much. Ezra reminds him of Caleb. Which, man, that was such a cute. Their relationship was so cute, and we shouldn't jump around. I guess we should go. We can jump around. Who cares? Because eventually, Kanan and his crew go to that planet for a job. They have to go. Kanan doesn't want to go there because trauma.
Yeah.
Naturally. And he keeps being very obtuse. He's just like, oh, man, yeah. Well, Kanan Jarrus has never been there. Ezra's like, why do you keep referring to yourself in the third person?
Why are you doing
This is Kanan Jarrus' first time talking to this person. He's like, don't worry about it.
As one does.
Man. And I kept hoping that there would be that he would be reunited.
I appreciated that they didn't.
Oh.
They teased it
I
like
appreciate
3 times.
it, but it makes me so sad.
Yeah.
I wanted it so bad. Because we get this background, and then it kind of does switch more so to modern day, because we reached like the end is sort of here, where we have more of like Kanan in the present day with like the rebels, and then we get a few more flashbacks as Kanan is in a coma, not unlike his master. Not in a coma, but in the I'm about to call it the juice box. I have no vernacular for Star Wars.
The back to tank.
The back to tank.
I was like, what are you talking about? Juice box? Like,
yeah, the juice box. Actually, that's now its canonical name.
He was in the juice box.
Oh, I got a paper cut. Put me in the juice box.
He was having all of these flashbacks to
that just happened to tie into things people were saying around him. I know.
Mm-hmm.
If only someone thought to use that as a storytelling technique.
Which was very cute, and I loved him and the other little Padawans that were with him, and getting to see, some familiar Jedi faces. It was very cool.
Yeah, and again, maybe they explore this more in Master and Apprentice as well. But I thought that was an interesting little side lore take of here's what these trials that have been referred to look like in this instance. And just because someone passes the trials doesn't mean that they're automatically graduated to apprentice status.
Yeah.
It's and I thought that was neat too.
I also I didn't know you could just say no to someone being your master. Does it make sense? I thought you'd be assigned somebody and you're like, that's it. But because they were like, did she ask you to be her Padawan? And he's like, yeah. Like, did you say yes? Like, heck yeah, I did. They're like, really? I mean, she's like damaged goods. I didn't realize that they could like. I thought it'd be like a school. Like, this is your mentor now.
Right.
Get over it.
Mm.
But I love their little relationship because I love how after like the other Padawans are talking shit about her, he's like, I'm just gonna go ask her. He just goes straight up like, hey, they said you're like damaged goods. What's up?
Yeah, they said you're broken.
Are you good? I heard like a lot of people died last time you went out. Is that your fault? Like, just shows up and talks to her. It's so cute.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I appreciate that too.
I love that because he's just that panel where he's like, I don't know what to think. And they just go straight up to her like, and they're just chatting. I can see why she picked him because she's like, what other Padawan would feel comfortable enough just coming up to you and asking them?
Yeah.
Oh, this reminds me. I have a question. Are there ninjas in Star Wars?
Well, apparently so.
Is that normal?
I mean,
ninjas?
I'm trying to think.
It was very cool.
No, I'm like, yeah.
See, when I think ninjas in Star Wars, I think of the Nagri. And I don't even know if they're still ninjas in Disney continuity as opposed to like original Timothy Zahn, Heir to the Empire continuity. Yeah. But I always thought of them as ninjas.
Okay.
Yeah, but I guess they are canon, right?
Well,
they're canon now. Rook is canon, at least.
Right.
She refers to him as a Kage warrior, which I assume is I assume it's Kage because that means shadow in Japanese, so that would make sense. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. They're like
Star Wars ninja is how it translates.
It just says members of the Kage species that battle against the Belugans. Okay.
What about baby Belugans?
Yeah, I don't know.
This is the second time, literally, in the last 2 hours that Baby Beluga has come up in conversation. And
I consider that a win.
They're assassins. Okay, thank you. Like everyone's like, come on, Maddie. It's like you've never read anything. I'm very new to Star Wars, so I'm like, I just pick it up as I go. And we also get a really good part too later on because we get to see some of these clone troopers again. I think I'm probably jumping around, so let me know if there's any parts that you all want to talk about that I'm missing.
Yeah, I think you're going to one of the things I wanted to talk about.
Where
the two that have been chasing them.
Yeah, where they kind of clue in to what's going on, and they have that moment of clarity where they're like, "Wait a second."
Right, and okay, where you've watched Rebels more recently, and not to spoil it tremendously, have you seen the episode where the Rebels crew meets up with some old clones?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't remember. Do they go into that in the? In the episode.
They said that they removed. Yeah, that guy looks like my dad, dead on.
Oh no! We bought this toy because it is a dead ringer for Lori's dad.
Oh really?
That's we bought him one too.
I was like,
I don't think he appreciated it. Wait a minute.
My dad's dead. Is hers alive?
Yeah, recently.
You beat me to it. I was going to be like, no, it's not possible. Her dad's dead.
Steve and I make really inappropriate dead dad jokes together a lot.
Yeah. It's a special club. It's a special club.
It's a special club. But yeah, so because they said that they took and maybe somebody in the chat can remember better, but they took the chips out. They took whatever that was out, so that way I don't know if they did it before or after. Or they just kind of woke up.
Yeah, I remember them. I remember them glossing over it pretty quickly, and and I could be wrong on that because it's been a while since I've watched Rebels. But I thought it was interesting to show that there was an actual evolution of thought here with these clone troopers who were like, "Why did we turn on them like that?" Like, really, and the one really being like, this isn't right. What are we doing? And I just don't know that. And again, I'm probably wrong. It's probably been addressed 50 times, but this is the first time I've seen it addressed like that, and I appreciated that.
Yeah, because I'm surprised it took him that long. It took a while. They've been chasing this guy for so long, and like,
well,
then
yeah,
they feel like,
on the other
wait,
hand, you know, part of that realization has to be, oh, we did a bad thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, so it's in a lot of ways not surprising that, you know, in for a penny, in for a pound.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm trying to find I'm not going to find it. I was trying to find the issue where they talk through that, because the way they talked about it was really interesting.
Yeah,
that's okay. It was good though. Whatever they said, it was really good. But yeah, just the way they think through it, because they really do go through like, wait a second, why? They're right. Why would this have been a good thing, and why did we just follow it?
Right.
But yeah, it was nice to see the evolution. I would like more of that. I'm sure there's some like books that better explore it, because the boys talk about it. Yeah, there we go. Some remove their inhibitor chips. I don't think Commander Gray did that, but he did come to a realization himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that crew decided to like be on their own, but one of them still was kind of like on the fence, still, but more like a self-preservation thing.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout this, I think definitely the Kanan stuff itself is more interesting than when he has like the whole group together. Even though I love seeing my Rebels crew.
Oh, the whole present tense group.
Yeah, I mean, I love just the fun bits of them, because I think you get a little more characterization than you get sometimes even in the show. Because Ezra was such a kid in this.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cute. Just the way he sat in the chair in the sea in the ship, and the way that he talked too about like ships when he saw Kanan's. He's like, "Oh, I'm in love." It's the same way that Kanan did when he was a kid. And the little backs and forth with like Hera and Kanan, I liked a lot. Like I said, I don't feel like they flirted in the cartoon really, but she called him love often, and I was like, I feel like there's never any like real.
I always appreciated that they let that be a story untold, and it looks like they did end up telling it, but you know, because it's Star Wars. But I appreciated that they just let some things in Rebels be taken for granted. So it's nice to see it played with a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
But
my lack of Rebels knowledge is really kicking me in the ass. I'm like, yeah, no, he's just like in the cartoon. And I'm like,
Maddie, they were obviously well, I know they were in love, but like she didn't call him love. I thought it was cute. I love the Rebels right down to Chopper, but I would have preferred more of the origin stuff too. And yeah, somebody else has said that in the comments as well, that like
the first
focus really switched.
Yeah, like the first half of it way more had me than like the second half. I was like, this is fun, I guess. And maybe if I had seen Rebels again, I may have been more invested, but I was just like, I'm really enjoying how he got here and the Order 66 stuff and all. But then I was all of a sudden like, what? What are we doing? Like,
well, that's when I you know, I wonder if this book was initially planned as a 12-issue series or whether it was intended as an ongoing, because like if it's a 12-issue series, it's a little weird that they put Order 66 at the beginning instead of starting with him just on his own and explaining slowly how he got there.
Yeah.
You know, starting with the little orphan boy that learns to fight and meets a smuggler with a heart of gold and blows up the Death Star. I mean, sorry.
If I remember correctly, the sales numbers were not great for Kanan, because I feel like, you know, it was a character that, let's be honest, I mean, the cartoon was popular, but it wasn't as popular as Clone Wars.
Yeah, because people think Rebels is for kids.
Right. And that's wrong. I don't think it was marketed well as Clone Wars was. Clone Wars, I felt like was marketed, especially in the middle seasons, as like, this isn't your kid's Star Wars cartoon.
Right.
Like, this is an animated series for adults. It's watch, but watch out, people are gonna die. Like, it felt a lot like that. Whereas Rebels, that might be one of the reasons I never picked it up, was I was like, is this gonna be a kid? Is it gonna be a cartoon, not an animated series? Does that make sense? Which
I get you.
Yeah.
But
Rebels was very Harry Potter in that sense of like, it started as this is a kids show for kids, and then and then all of a sudden it got real.
So real. There's some stuff that happens that's just a lot.
I mean, they had me when I found out they brought Thrawn in the first time Thrawn appeared in the.
Oh yeah, well
that I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's what got me to watch it initially. Was like, oh well, okay, now I've got to understand the backstory to what's going on with these Thrawn episodes. So, okay then.
I mean, I know the canon books that Timothy Zahn's written, the like new Thrawn trilogy. Like, what I've read of them, I haven't read them, but what I've read of them, great. But I remember, like, I tried to read the Thrawn comic mini that they did, and I loved the Heir to the Empire trilogy. But like, I could not have cared less about the character in that mini, and that makes me really sad because he's one of my favorite villains in the Star Wars universe. And because I haven't watched Rebels, and because I haven't really read the new Timothy Zahn novels, I feel like I haven't seen him done justice in the Disney canon Star Wars universe. And that makes me mad because I mean, it sounds like you've read the Heir to the Empire books, and like, those books are, to me, in the next trilogy. Obviously, they would have had to film it way back when, but like, to me, for years and years and years, that was the sequel trilogy.
Oh yeah, well, that's all there was. That and Dark Empire.
I didn't want more, honestly. I was like, this is perfect. Like, so good.
Yeah, and I liked Thrawn in Rebels quite a bit. I liked the acting. You know, I don't know who the actor is off the top of my head, but I thought it was a good portrayal, and that pulled me into Rebels. Oh, there goes my light. And so I'm pinker now, even pinker. But that and got me interested in the actual characters the series is supposed to be about. So I'm glad to see some of that here. But it was kind of amazing that I mean, you know, I get that you got to put it as a frame story and draw the parallels to the new from the old and that sort of thing. But they sure spent a lot of time with the new folks when this book is about Kanan doing his Kanan thing, and Kanan being out of action for a lot of it.
Yeah.
And then you know, exploding out of the juice box.
Yeah, I would prefer. I think it would have done better if it was just like a Kanan solo.
Yeah,
because I mean, a lot of those like side character specific stories like do really well with Star Wars comics. From what I see, like people really do like reading those. I still enjoyed it regardless, but I would have preferred more time with Kanan, just being Kanan doing Kanan stuff, and then maybe at the end, or maybe like block it off. We're like present Kanan at the beginning and present Kanan at the end, and everything in the middle is just.
I remember a time when.
Right, like he's sitting down.
I'm not
going to
tell anybody this. Yeah,
and he remembers something that he sees himself, and it's like, oh, the olden days, and then just all of that. And I guess they even reference the novel in here as well towards the end, like this character, Vice Admiral Sloan. There's like a little asterisk in here at some point that's like, oh, this is
check out the novel.
Look at the novel.
We don't feel like talking about this. Go read.
Awesome.
But I mean, it's just so cool. And now I'm upset that we don't have this. Like, where's this ship at?
Are you sure there's not a toy of that ship?
I'm sure there's a toy of it, but like, where's it in the shop?
Well,
more of the toy.
It's hidden with Mr. Fishman.
Mr. Fishman.
Mr. Fishman Governor.
Mr. Fishman Governor.
Who has a name?
So good. Oh, I love it.
Damn it, Key.
Love the Fenn Rau cameo. I think Kanan even talks to him about it in the Rebels. Rebels threw me off with the character models that they used at first, but then I came to like them more as the show progressed. I'd watch it even if I wasn't a Star Wars fan. And honestly, I think what appealed to me about Rebels a lot over like Clone Wars is that it was completely new characters. And it was easy to grow and learn with them. Whereas like Clone Wars, even though I'd seen the movies, I still felt like I was kind of walking in on something.
Well, Clone Wars, like, I was always lukewarm on Clone Wars just because it always kind of felt like somebody's fan fiction about what happened in between the movies. And I realize that's completely an unfair characterization, and I haven't given it its time of day. But the different actors playing the parts, the different take on what, on kind of the structure of how everything was set up, always knocked me out of the fiction and enjoying it a little bit. I got too meta. Whereas with Rebels, where it was new characters, and then they kind of slowly peppered in people you recognized in significant ways. Mm-hmm. That I appreciated, and it kept me pulled in more.
Oh man, Steve, I'm excited for you to watch it so we can talk about a very particular person who just doesn't stay dead and comes back. And I never cared about him until then. And I love him now.
Do I know of this person already?
You absolutely know of this person.
I mean, it's not, we're not talking about Clone Wars though, right?
No, I'm talking about Rebels.
Okay,
he was in Clone Wars though too.
I'm gonna say I know who came back in Clone Wars, and everybody was like, "What?"
Did that person maybe come back again? I don't know.
I don't know. Was this
did that person also come back in Solo?
Yes. Was this person also sliced in half at one point?
Yeah.
Is this person wearing glasses? I guess you're Tom.
I love it. Dave says Thrawn will probably show up in the Star Wars Ahsoka Disney Plus series. Yeah, I think he will.
I know what, I'm so scared.
I'm nervous. Well, and they say that everyone says Ezra's going to show up in one of these.
Yeah.
And I think they talk the rumors that they're going to cast that guy from Aladdin. There's somebody that I want to be Ezra who likes Star Wars, and I think his name is I don't remember his name, but he was an iZombie, and he was in The Haunting of Bly Manor. He's a huge Star Wars fan. Is Rahul?
Whoa! I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Crap.
Oh my gosh.
I love him. He's a beautiful man.
He's beautiful. Okay, Rahul Kohli, because he's an actor. He's a geek. He also voices Scarecrow and Harley Quinn. And the fans for years have fan cast him as Ezra. He wants to be Ezra, but I'm sure he won't be Ezra. Anyways.
I mean, I could, just based on what I know of Ezra, I can see this like older.
Yeah.
Although I'll riot if they don't let it be like this version of him. Like,
well, I want him full beard. Because shouldn't he take after Kanan with the beard? It's just a Jedi thing, right?
And the long hair.
Yeah. You have to take on the hair of the previous one.
Now I'm just looking at pictures of.
That's how Force ghosts work. Is they live in the hair.
Yeah, exactly. Of course. Okay. Also, to be fair, the book was supposed to end after the first 6 issues, but sales said otherwise. Oh, okay. So that answers our question. Answers our question then.
My bad.
That does explain a lot.
Yeah, it explains that last issue too, where when we see Sloane and we have different art also.
New theory.
Okay.
We need to make sure that he is cast as Ezra, and he comes back with that Bly Manor stash. Like,
how cute would that be? Hey, Ahsoka.
I know nothing about Ezra, but this mustache has to be in the Star Wars universe.
Ezra is basically Aladdin, at least in the beginning. Just think Aladdin. It's the same.
Okay.
Talking
I'm really invested in this.
Jessica says, you know what also has totally new characters with familiar events in the background? Claudia Gray's Lost Stars. In this essay, oh, Jessica, I know I need to. Also, Jaden, this comment is inappropriate, but it's really funny, so I'm going to post it still. This book convinced me that at some point, Kanan gave Hera that outer rim job.
Nice.
So, really funny.
So here's the thing. I saw that comment. And I was thinking to myself, is there like in Solo, they're doing the heist, the whatever job. And so I was like, wait, so I haven't seen Rebels. Is there like literally an outer rim job, or are we making it? And I couldn't figure it out. So I'm really glad I was going to ask you later.
I mean, I'm assuming it's a sex joke.
I was like,
if it's
is there
not,
an
I
outer
feel
rim
real
job,
bad.
or did this person just literally mean a rim job? Like, I don't know.
Oh my God, you guys, we can't keep going. We have to talk
Yeah,
about
we
the book
can't talk
instead.
about rim jobs this much.
Well,
There could be children watching.
Star Wars is not just for kids.
That's true.
That's what I've heard.
This isn't your kids' Star Wars chat.
This isn't your kid's Star Wars comic book.
Okay, so I know we're all
Marvel.
over the place. Is there any parts of this that I'm missing, or that either of you would like to go ahead and talk about? Because I know I kind of jumped around with this before we wrap up and just chill with the chat. That is.
Other than like my biggest annoyance with this book is just my annoyance whenever I see it in any fiction whatsoever, which is the let's blow a person out into space and pick them up before they die. Because no amount of science is going to make me think that can be a real thing. That's just a private.
It's every space Odyssey thing always.
Yeah. Also, too. Yeah. Again, we've talked about the juice box probably more than is warranted, but like,
don't sell it.
And I realized that they were using the juice box as a framing story, both with his master and him for the kind of coma story. But like, he just got stabbed. Like, don't they have stitches in Star Wars?
Yeah, well, isn't there other stuff you can use too?
Yeah, don't they have like infusible blood and stitches? Because it seems like that would take care of being stabbed. You wouldn't need to be in a coma in a Bacta tank for hours or possibly days to heal that.
Yeah,
or maybe the difference is that heals. But like, I don't know.
I mean, what was he stabbed with again?
A knife.
Okay, I was gonna say the lightsaber.
No, he was stabbed with Smuggler Funky's knife.
Elliot said, honestly, Bacta is terrible. Destroyed the cultural trade, leaving Manan in turmoil.
Well, Elliot, I don't know what those words mean because I think you made them all up. But
they're from KOTOR.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say Bacta is not a real word. It's Bacta. I think you made it all up.
Damn. Elliot's called out. Kanan and Ahsoka have to have the most Jedi Temple PTSD. I feel for both of them.
I mean, except for Anakin.
Can I say a thing?
Yes.
I'm just gonna throw this out, and maybe the chat's gonna yell at me for this. Rosario Dawson looked dumb as Ahsoka that I saw Mandalorian. The makeup was not good. I didn't like it.
I love the way you said it's the most like Star Wars YouTube commentator when I do it. I'm just gonna say it.
Wow. She looked dumb. Like that's my worry with Thrawn though, and maybe it's because I wanted her to look just like and I know.
Well, they couldn't make the things as long.
But like, that's what scares me about Thrawn, where I'm like, Is it just gonna look like a dude in blue paint? Like,
Yeah, well, just find any jaunt white guy and paint him blue. I think it'll work.
who was the guy that played Christian Grey? Give us that guy.
Well, no, I think it should be that guy who plays. I always forget his name, but he always dresses up as like all the creepy characters and things. Like he's in he played the Fish Man in
Shape of Water.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that guy.
Dan? Nope, you're Dan.
I can't remember. He has a name.
And it's like something very simple.
Yeah,
I want Peter Capaldi as Grand Admiral Thrawn.
he could do it. Look at him in
was,
Suicide Squad. I think it would work.
my first thought was the guy that played Gabe on The Office.
No, he's playing Captain America now.
Wait, what?
No, not really.
Oh, okay. I was like,
but the actor playing U.S. agent on the new series,
oh yeah,
is very reminiscent of has that same look.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways.
I gotta look up what this guy's name is, y'all.
Doug Jones. Doug Jones.
There we go. Hey, the chat. Thank you.
He's
I
great.
appreciate you.
Andy
Okay.
Serkis.
Before we do the proper wrap up, we just chill with the chat. We should talk about the art, which I think is a 10 out of 10. I thought it was very good. I love the art so much. The colors were great. Everything's so expressive. Who did the art? I should compliment them. 1 second.
I just like how many times you said art and your love of the art, and then the last time you said art was
Shut up.
Pepe Larraz
Okay. Thank you.
and Andrea Brocardo, who did number 12. I'm mispronouncing both of those names horribly.
I have never pronounced any comic book creator's name right ever.
Yeah.
But I think this came together very well in regards to that.
Yeah, I did too, because it would have been dangerous for them to try to emulate the Rebels art style in this. So I'm glad they went a completely different way. And I liked the way that this used heavy inks and it was a different look. And actually, I say it's a different look. It reminded me the way there are a lot of just solid black, solid panels of black and different color in different shots reminded me a lot of the Dark Empire comics from back in the day, because that was used to extremity and distraction back in those comics. But I thought this made me think of that a little bit, and I didn't actually have that thought until I'm saying it right now. But like, it just, the use of color in this makes me think of that, which makes me feel like Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I really want them to go away, because this era I think is really interesting. But like, again, I'm kind of with whoever said it in the chat about Rebels, the character models. I feel like I could watch it and they'd grow on me. But I'm kind of like, I don't know. Like, even the Clone Wars animation took me a while to get used to.
That's
and like,
fair.
for me, did you ever, Dan or Maddie, but I doubt it. Dan, did you ever see the Tartakovsky Clone Wars series?
Yeah.
Like, I want this era, but I want it drawn in that style. Which, Maddie, that was not meant to be shitty, other than you didn't watch Star Wars till this year.
Yeah, I don't know.
It wasn't. It's coming to Disney Plus.
Wait, they're putting the Tartakovsky series on there?
I think either it's already on there or it's coming very soon. Yeah.
So what is that?
So for anyone who's like, what does that look like? It's the guy the animator who did Samurai Jack. It's that
And
animator.
Powerpuff Girls.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, that sounds cool.
It's very good.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
It didn't make it long. I think it made it like 2 really short seasons. I think there's only like 20 episodes or something.
Yeah, and they were short. They were like less than 10 minutes each, weren't they?
Yeah, I think it was like kind of like, if you remember.
Okay,
like,
yeah. In the chat, they say 5-minute shorts.
Yeah.
It says April 2nd. So
Okay.
soon.
Well, that's right around the corner.
Yeah, so there were 3 seasons, 25 episodes, but the episodes were like, nothing. But
They're saying, that Mace Windu was great in that. Oh, we're getting more stuff too. Also, April 2nd, Caravan of Courage and Ewok Adventure, Star Wars Ewoks, and Star Wars The Story of the Faithful Wookiee are all coming.
The Story of the Faithful. I don't even know what that is, but
I don't either.
Ewoks I watched growing up. Ewoks and Droids, which were very bad.
Yeah.
But I loved them.
Yeah, Elliot was telling me about it. He's like, yeah, they had their own language and they spoke, but there was no subtitles for what they were saying.
The Ewoks?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was just like, all right. You just accepted it.
Yeah.
Torsten says, we need an ongoing series following Casimir and Cleve. I would love that. I think they're very interesting characters. I would absolutely. I just want more of this art and this story and everybody. More Kanan.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting that they really did set those two up as not quite Laurel and Hardy level straight man and funny guy. What's the opposite component of the straight man in a comedy routine?
Straight man, funny guy.
Yeah, straight man and funny guy. Those are the names of the bombs. But I did appreciate that dynamic that was actually shown developing over this whole thing and then was played out a bit at the end.
Yeah.
That paid off. A lot of things paid off in this.
Yeah.
More so than I would expect for 12 issues, apparently, of which only half were planned.
And of which
and they were
good. No, what?
And they're very good, insightful moments throughout here. Because you think about the stuff we most focused on were little moments here that really spoke to a lot of things. Okay, so now is just chill with chat time. But before we do that, it is tradition on Old Reader New Reader that we give a rating out of 10. Even though really ratings, it's just all about how you feel about it. You don't have to be, it's not to be like a 10
I'm reasonably sure that's an empirical definition of rating.
Well, yeah, but some people are like, really like this? I'm like, no, but for me, this thing is this good. Even though I know if I was like, the 100 best comics, it would not stack up. Like my favorite was You've Got Mail. That's a 10 out of 10 to me. It should be a 4 out of 10 movie, I think. But for me, it's a lot. Same with Disney's Descendants. 10 out of 10.
With what?
Disney's Descendants, 10 out of 10.
Ah, good. Sure, good.
So for Kanan, I'm leaning towards an 8 out of 10. It gave me what I wanted. I really liked it. There's definitely room for improvement. I would have liked just more Kanan.
I need to know 8 what out of what? Out of 10 what? Is it like, do we get to choose a unit?
Sure.
Okay.
It's like whose line is it anyway? You can just make up whatever rating system you want.
I will give the first half like a solid 9 out of 10 Outer Rim jobs. And I will give the second half like a 6 out of 10.
I think that's fair.
Not for me.
All right. Well, I will say that I'm the person who likes to rate things 3s unless I was 3 out of 5 unless I was real pleased.
I'm
going to go 6 out of 10 because it was good and I enjoyed it. I don't know that I will read it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not something I feel the need to own a physical copy of. Like, it's interesting and I enjoyed it. So better than half, which is better than half of all things.
I will say
that's good.
That's how I've been with most Star Wars comics from Marvel. I put them in the 6 to 8 range usually. I don't need to own a copy. The only ones that I've been like, I have to own this are both of the Vader series. Like Kieran Gillen and the Charles Soule run.
I need to read them still.
They're so good. The Charles Soule Omni is coming out, and I'm so excited about that.
I've enjoyed those quite a bit too. I mean, Marvel is doing a good job with Star Wars comics for the most part, except for the how many adventures can these people really have in between the big adventures that they just never talk about again? That's the, like, you just have to look past that.
I don't know. Dark Horse and all that would tell you there's a lot more adventures that they could have.
Yeah. No, dude, that was like 10 years in between those movies.
Probably. Darth Vader owes Padme years of child support out of 10. James goes 7.5 out of 10. Star Wars mental therapist out of 10. 7.5, it was solid, nothing amazing. 9 out of 10. 7 out of 10 would read the 5 issues again. They did make a hardcover, so I took the dust jacket off, but there is what's called the Kanan Omnibus. It's pretty thin, but it's a nice hardcover. I bought it before I read it, just because when I'm hyper fixated, and so it's like I need everything related to Rebels. So I bought the novel. I haven't read it yet. It's next to my bed, and then I bought this, and all of the pop figures are too much money, so I'm just scouring them for deals. But I have 2, and I don't want to pay $100 for
2 of the most important ones.
Yeah. They're the coolest looking ones. I don't need the rest.
I do want to give credit, because I just saw in the chat, Dr. Aphra and Obi-Wan and Anakin both were great series. Dr. Aphra, I have the Omni coming, so I do want to own that one. And Obi-Wan was really good. Like, I didn't think it was going to be good.
I don't know that I've read the Obi-Wan series.
It's the Obi-Wan Anakin series was like, it was just the 2 of them. Like, I think it takes place between, if I'm remembering correctly, between Phantom Menace and
I didn't know that existed. I'll have to go
closer to Attack of the Clones. So he's okay. Old. No, it's really good. It's worth a read for sure.
Yeah.
James, I didn't get the omnibus. Hera's in it. It's too late now. I'll just have to read all digitally, which is fine.
Here, Maddie, we'll do Dr. Aphra for old reader, new reader. I'll come back. Then you're like, I gotta buy it. It's a business expense.
No, that's out of print. I'll just read it on.
Well, digitally.
We pay for Marvel Unlimited.
eBay and deductions, that works fine.
Yeah, I'm sure nobody's jacked up the price on
Tyler, that. Can you tell us, does that work fine?
Yeah, Tyler, are you still in the chat? You're our accountant. Is that cool?
Elliot's right, by the way. It is pronounced Dr. Aphra. So, sorry.
I miss you, Steven.
Somebody's got to.
On a DC note, anyone see the Suicide Squad's trailer? Did you guys watch it?
Yeah.
It looks really fun.
I'm in. I was not in on the first one, like, even from the trailers.
Well, no one should have been.
Which also,
but this one has King Shark in it.
Can I be a bad comic fan for a second? Because I feel like
Sure.
I'm the only person in the last 2 weeks hasn't watched the Snyder cut. Like,
it's okay.
I haven't either.
Is it? Have you seen it?
I'm terrified of it.
I saw it.
Is it worth my time?
How much
to be
time?
Quiet in case somebody tries to fight me.
Okay, because the first movie.
Chat, stop watching for a minute.
Oh my gosh. I watched all 4 hours with drinks. And Jessica Ashcraft, she watched it with me online. I gotta tell you, I never want to watch that ever again. If you like hopeful Justice League, this isn't for you. Do you like your Superman to be Superman? Or do you want me to be
I
like...
want my Superman to not exist because I hate the character.
Oh.
I'm going to stop talking. The cat's going to come. Like...
It was not worth it. It wasn't.
I like my Jason Momoa not dressed, and that seems like he's
there's some of that in there.
Yeah.
But you also get 3 minutes of like Icelandic singing. And I mean 3.
Yeah, that was where I stopped watching. I was like, wait, I don't understand why these people are singing. And it just went on. It's like, oh, so they're just not going to explain it.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my exact reaction. I was like, I could be unpacking boxes right now.
I do recommend, just so you can see how horrible it is, watch the scene with there's the Flash saves Iris West or whatever. and there's a hot dog, whatever. But the music choice for that scene is the worst music choice I've ever seen of any scene ever in my entire life, and I stand by that.
Go on.
Okay.
It's just they play this really slow song. No, that would be hilarious. I'd be like, yes, I'm in. Or play some like, I don't know, Sarah McLachlan or something. Like, be ironic about it, but it was no.
Cold Hard Bitch by Jet.
If only. See, wow. I like that just because like, but I like Legends of Tomorrow, where in like the last episode of the season, they played the thong song and they had a fight to the thong song, which I thought was a 10 out of 10 episode.
Okay, well, that's amazing.
Everyone should watch Legends of Tomorrow. I keep trying. Everyone I talk to, like, no, forget about the other DC stuff. Legends of Tomorrow exists.
I watched the first season of Legends of Tomorrow. And
that's the bad one.
Yeah.
That's the bad one.
Okay. This is the show I watched. Like, it's no Supergirl. Like,
the CWDC did not follow me into the pandemic. Somehow I had all sorts of time on my hands, but it wasn't for that.
There were some choices made right before the pandemic and in that stuff, so it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, we all made a lot of choices right before the pandemic. Some good, some bad.
Some evil.
Yeah.
You feel every minute of Joyless League. It's good, but you never want to watch it again.
So it's American History X.
Oh, God. Yes.
I would rather watch Momoa and Conan in the Snyder Cut. Dang. Superman and Lois is solid, I think. That's a good Superman thing. We lost Dan. Oh, no.
Dan. I don't know about Rebels. Help. Dan's back.
Maybe the internet God's angry.
Dan, I've never been so scared in my life. But I have the little near mint symbol in my window now. So
that's right. Endorsing.
I'm officially part of the channel.
There you go.
Well.
Oh, also, I did see that pop up. Hi, Richard. Call me a great guy. That makes me so happy.
So there's still more Star Wars comics I want to read. And I know I'm supposed to read Darth Vader because everyone says how good that is.
I've been telling.
Are there other things I'm supposed to read too that are good that I'm missing out on? I've read Jason Aaron's Star Wars.
Dr. Aphra?
I've read. Yeah, I need to read more of it because I've only read the first hardcover, which I liked. The two other girls that were with me didn't like it, but they just come off of reading the Darth Vader Omnibus, so nothing's gonna compare.
Right. If you're looking to do like what would make episodes, some of the minis that are 6 issues, doing like 3 of those in an episode would work. Because I think like the Princess Leia mini was pretty good. Honestly, I really, really liked the Lando mini that Charles Soule did. Things like that are worth reading. A lot of folks didn't. I thought the Darth Maul one was good.
Okay.
But I also just love Darth Maul.
Whitney, do you want to come on next month and read Star Wars stuff sometime? Or read Darth Vader? Whitney's my friend from work.
Oh, I see how it is. I see how it is, Whitney.
Oh, you guys are all okay. Listen,
going for my spot,
right?
I went out of my way to send Dan. Oh my God!
Match.
You're all invited. And Dan, I hope that now that I've officially invited you to a show, you know that you can just jump at any time.
Well,
if you see the schedule and you're like,
had officially invited me before, and I was just like, yeah, I will do that. That's a thing that I will do. So I'm glad you cornered me on a specific one because this was fun.
Yay! I'm really glad.
Can I just say though, real quick before we go?
I love when you just say, I just say it. I'm
just saying.
Hot take.
No, I do just want to genuinely share something before we leave though. I think I speak for all of us when I say Disney. You fucking cowards. Put out the Salacious Crumb backstory. We want to know. Salacious Crumb miniseries. Release it. We know it was written.
What does this mean?
You don't know who Salacious Crumb is? The greatest character in the Star Wars universe.
I don't understand.
He's the
mastermind
from Jabba's shoulder. He goes like, whoa!
Oh.
He's the Fraggle. He's the Fraggle from Return of the Jedi.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, I agree with Elliot. More Babu Frick.
I really love Babu Frick though. Target has like the Babu Frick toy that you like.
Oh yeah.
Hold his foot and he says something and on sale, and I'm like, I'm 29.
Oh, you're a baby.
Do I need Babu Frick in my house? Eventually, my boss is going to come to my house eventually one day, and she's going to be like, "What is this place? What are you doing?"
When I went to Galaxy's Edge, they had like tiny. I can't remember the
I want to go there.
But tiny little Salacious Crumb species that you could like put on your shoulder, and they had little things you could turn their head. And I'm like, I want this thing just so I can walk around, and when like somebody makes a joke, I could be like.
I want to go so bad now that I like care about Star Wars. Because before I'm like, oh, whatever, I don't care. But now I'm like, I've got to go. I want to build a droid.
Droid building looked kind of cool, I guess. I will say, if you get the opportunity, and please know everyone, I am poor, so I did not pay. Somebody actually like gifted me the money to do it. Building your own lightsaber. Is a religious.
Did you choose a kyber crystal and everything?
Yes, you choose the kyber.
Dan's not getting it now.
Like, you light it up and like, oh my god, the experience. I don't know what
the sound.
I heard either a lightsaber or someone falling into a bomb.
Do you have a carrying case?
Yeah,
they give you a carrying case.
Yeah, so you can carry it on your back like a freaking ninja.
Now, I do think I took the batteries out to move, which is going to be real disappointing.
Like Return of the
See,
Jedi.
that's very disappointing.
Oh.
Yeah. So if I had batteries nearby, I would put it on, but it'll take me 20 minutes to find batteries.
That's
but yes,
cool.
This is the one that I built at the.
Oh, you picked the like peace
I like it.
or justice or whatever.
Yeah, I don't remember. I picked the pretty ones.
I'm totally the dude that picked the like power and aggression.
Oh
one.
Yeah, the one that is. Do you want a dark side lightsaber? Here you go.
But then I made it blue. It's a badass handle, and then it's blue. It costs $200 to build.
Yes.
I did win a lightsaber from Near Mint Condition way back before I was on the channel. So I have green. I have the green lightsaber. I didn't care about Star Wars then. What a waste. But now it matters. So it's okay.
I remember that lightsaber. It was cool. I was very jealous that we were giving it away. Well, at least we knew we were giving that one away.
Is this another episode with Maddie's unused agenda she forgot about because of ADHD? Yeah, I'm always, all my agendas where it's like, be too progressive for comic books or start a fight or forcing diversity.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
As one does.
Yeah.
The secret agenda of equality.
I'm still waiting for Star Wars Detours to come out. They made 39 episodes. It's a parody of the franchise. But after Disney took over, they won't air the series.
No. I don't know what that is, but I want it.
I don't either.
You think that you're into Star Wars, and then it's like, oh, no one is fully into Star Wars. There's just too much Star Wars.
I don't know how anyone does
There's no way to be comprehensive on Star Wars anymore.
Disney likes to hide the goods is the comment I'm loving that I'm seeing right now.
Wendy gets it. She's also a big Disney goer.
Also, I feel like Disney likes to hide a lot of things. Disney likes to hide the anti-Semitism. Disney likes to hide. There's got to be bodies. I'm convinced Walt Disney was an H.H. Holmes style, 1950s, serial killer.
I would watch that show.
I would watch it too.
How cool is that?
I want Evan Peters to play Walt Disney.
Evan Peters can't play Walt Disney, no.
Why?
Jessica, next week, we're gonna post the schedule in a couple days, but next week, Old Reader New Reader's doing Brad Meltzer's Justice League America.
Ooh.
So that's what we're reading. And we are reading Princess Leia next month. So if either of you feel like hanging out for that one.
Nice.
Maddie, you know I will always hang out.
Thanks.
My short-lived entertainment career is over, so this is my fix.
Elliot says his name is Walt, for God's sake. We just watched that movie with Tom Hanks, Saving Mr. Banks. So that's why he's saying that, because the whole time he's like, call me Walt. Okay, Tom Hanks.
All right.
All right. So we'll wrap it up there. Thank you all so much for joining us here in the chat. Thank you, Dan and Steven, for hanging out.
Thanks for having me.
Dan, you gotta come out. You gotta come on more now.
Yes, I will. And let's do Transformers at some point.
Let's do. I haven't scheduled all of May yet, so pick a day in May, and we can read Transformers.
I'm still sure Maddie to do new Turtles. I'm just saying.
I do need to read that as well.
It reads like that.
And if you guys are catching this later, if you've read Kanan, or if you just have any comments on our various Star Wars talkings or recommendations, feel free to leave in the comments.
Or things we were wrong about.
Oh, absolutely. And if you are an old-time Star Wars fan, as I've gotten some of them, instead of leaving a comment that's like, hey, the book you chose is crap, leave a comment for a newbie Star Wars person with recommendations. Let's be positive. I'm curious about Star Wars. I'd love to read more. And, I hope you like this video. Subscribe for more videos of comic book nature. I'm here every Tuesday at 8. And we have a new clothing store thing, spread shop. I am so sorry. I hope Melanie and Omar don't see this because I am butchering this. We have new shirts. They are in the description of the video. I think I don't remember which store it is.
And if not, they will be in the description of the video shortly.
I promise. And yeah, I hope you all have a good night and, live long and prosper. I know that's a Star Trek reference. That's the joke.
Oh, you should